Buying a laptop can be so confusing for an average person. The reason is because a lot of people don't know the basic components of a laptop. They don't know exactly what they should be looking for in a laptop before they go buy the laptop. And they might end up buying something that is not best suited for what they want to do. And eventually the laptop starts crashing and it gets bad real quickly. So if you don't know what you should be looking for in a laptop that will best suit your specific work or your specific needs, you might end up buying the wrong thing and then you get back home and you get disappointed real quickly. That is why in today's video, I'm going to be trying my best to break down all the big tech words so that I can explain to you the most important or the basic components of a laptop, so that the next time you want to buy a laptop, you know exactly what will suit your workload, what you should be looking for, what questions you are supposed to be asking the seller. You should know exactly what you want to buy, okay? So this video is going to be kind of like a laptop buying guide for beginners. All right, so when it comes to buying laptop, it boils down to two most important things. One is what you want to use the laptop for, and the second is your budget. Now, with this in mind, you need to know the basic components of a laptop. And the four most important components of a laptop are the CPU, the graphics card, the RAM, and the storage. All right, so let's start with the CPU. So what is the CPU and what does it do? What is its function in a laptop? Now, the CPU simply stands for Central Processing Unit, and it's also known as the processor. Now, the processor is the powerhouse of your laptop. It is kind of like the brain of your laptop. The best way to explain how the CPU works is just imagine you are the owner of a city and your laptop is your tiny city and the processor is a mayor of that city. Now, the mayor's job is to make sure everything runs out smoothly in that city, right? It makes sure all of your orders are being carried out. So just like the mayor would give or sends orders to different people in the city, the processor also sends instructions to different parts of your laptop. For example, when you're typing in something on your keyboard, or maybe you click something on your keyboard, you are sending in orders or you're sending instructions to the CPU. These orders are like tiny messages. So when you send in these messages, the CPU is very smart, so it can understand all of these messages. So what it does is it's going to turn all of these messages into tiny steps so that it can delegate the task to different parts of the city. Because of course, the processor is the mayor and the mayor cannot do everything in the city, right? So you cannot do everything alone in a city. So what it does is it's going to delegate these tasks to its subordinates or to different parts of the laptop. It basically tells the other parts of the laptop what to do. For example, it might tell the screen to show something. It might tell the speaker to make a sound. It might tell the hard drives to find a file. So things like that. Again, depending on your orders, depending on what you want. So once the CPU sends these instructions to different parts of the laptop, it's going to wait for everybody to finish doing what they are supposed to do. So it makes sure everyone is doing what they are supposed to do. And if there's need to send more instruction or more orders, it's going to do just that. Again, depending on your orders. And that is why the processor speed is very, very important. So we're going to get to that in a bit. But for now, let's take a look at the two most preferred manufacturers of a processor. Now, there are two most preferred manufacturers of a processor, which is the Intel and the AMD. The Intel has the Intel series, which comes in four different categories, which is the i3, i5, i7, and i9 processors. While for the AMD, it has the Ryzen series processor, which are the Ryzen 3, Ryzen 5, Ryzen 7, and Ryzen 9 processors. When you see a laptop with the i series processor, know that it's from Intel. And if you see a laptop with the Ryzen processor, know that it's from AMD. Now, the performance hierarchy of these processors are: the higher the number, the more performant the processor. So i-series or i3 processors are less performant than i5 processors, and i5 processors are less performant than i7, and i7 less performant than i9 processors. The same is true for Ryzen's processors. So basically, the higher the number, the more or the better the processor. All right, so with that in mind, let's take a look at these two laptops. Which is a better laptop? Is it the i3 or the i5 laptop? If you say the i5 laptop, then you're correct. So you can see that it is more expensive than the i3 laptop. Right, so if you take a look at the laptops I just showed you, you're going to see some numbers and letters attached behind the processor number. So what does this number and letter represent? The first number represents the generation of the processor. That is how recent the processor was made. You can see some laptops having the 11th generation, 10th generation, 8th generation, 12 generations. So the higher the number, the more recent the processor was made, and of course, the more better the processor. 11th generation processors are less performant than the 12th generation processor.
All right, so from these two laptops, can you actually tell the generations of the laptop? All right, so if you say the first one is a 10th generation laptop and the second is a 9th generation laptop, then you are correct. If you take a look at the number closely, you discover that although the 10th generation laptop is more recent than the 9th generation laptop, the 9th generation laptop is actually more expensive than the 10th generation laptop. This can best be explained by the last letter that is attached to the number. You can see the 10th generation laptop has U at the end of the number, and the 9th has H at the end of the number. So what does these letters mean?
As for the letters, you're going to see some laptops with letters like U, P, H, and G. Now, U processors basically are processors that are good for ultra low power tasks. Things like basic browsing on the internet, working on some Microsoft Word documents. The preprocessors are good for slightly higher task workloads like maybe basic video editing, graphic design, maybe coding. Then the H processors are basically good for higher or intense workloads like pro video editing, 3D graphic designing. It's basically suited for 3D image viewing. So those are high powerful task processors. And you can also see G as a letter attached behind. So G basically represents the graphics card. And that leads us to the next important component of a laptop, which is the graphics card. Now, in the tech world, the graphics card is known as GPU. GPU stands for Graphics Processing Units. Now, the graphics card focuses on handling the visual stuff of your laptop. It helps to display your images, your videos, your animations on your screen so that it helps to make it look good and colorful. If you're not into gaming, video editing, 3D, graphics designing, stuff like that, then the graphics card doesn't matter as much. But if you're into all those, then you need to check your graphics card. There are two most preferred manufacturers of a graphics card, which is the AMD and NVIDIA. If a graphics card has RTX, GTX, Quadro attached to its name, know that it's from NVIDIA. But if it has RX attached to its name, know that it's from AMD. The best type of graphics cards for gaming, for doing 3D modeling, and producing any type of 3D realistic images on your screen is the NVIDIA RTX because it supports ray tracing. So how do you compare graphics cards in laptops? Now, the higher the number, the better the graphics card.
For example, a graphics card with RTX 1650 should be greater than the one that has RTX 1640 and vice versa. So the higher the number, the more better the graphics card.
Next is the RAM. RAM stands for Random Access Memory. RAM is the memory of your laptop. It's basically there to enable you to open multiple tabs on your laptop. So for example, you can be listening to music on your laptop while at the same time you're sending in emails, at the same time you're working on the Microsoft Word documents, so things like that. So that is a function of RAM. Last but not the least is the storage. The storage is basically the hard drive where your files are being stored on your laptop. Now, there are two types of hard storage device, which is the SSD and the HDD. SSD stands for solid state drive and HDD stands for hard disk drive. Now, the SSD gives you more space for you to be able to store your files as opposed to HDD. And another advantage for the SSD is that it helps to run your applications more smoothly as opposed to HDD. So you might also want to think about that when you want to buy a laptop. Now remember this, the better the components, the more expensive the laptop. So if you want a laptop that has a better processor, has a better graphics card, a better storage space, you're going to pay more for it. The better the components of the laptop, the more expensive the laptop. You might not have a laptop for your specific budget that has that would tick out all these components that I've just mentioned, all the components that you might want. So you might want to go for the components that is more important for your workload. For example, if you are not into graphics designing, anything 3D modeling, then you don't necessarily need a good graphics card. So you might want to take that into consideration.
Generally, the processor is the most important thing you should look at, because whether you are a student or you're a professional, or maybe you use your laptop to do some basic browsing, basic video editing, you still need a laptop with a good processor speed. So if you're using your laptop maybe to do some basic Microsoft Word document editing, email sending, watching videos on your laptop, or maybe just listening to music, then you might want to go for a laptop with a processor speed of at least 1.3 gigahertz. But if you're going into more intense work like video editing, then you need a processor speed of at least 2.5 gigahertz. Remember, the processor is the one that will determine how fast you can open up applications on your laptop. So how fast can you open up a Microsoft Word document on your laptop? How fast can you open up Photoshop? How fast can you open up that video editing app? How fast can your camera open up? Now, all this has nothing to do with the internet. Your processor has nothing to do with the internet. Yes, your browser like Google Chrome is one of these applications that are stored on your computer. But for the most part, the processor speed is most important for things that are locally in your computer, like all of your applications, like your Microsoft Word documents, your camera, your image files, so things like that. As for the RAM, it doesn't matter whether you're a student or you're a professional, it's always advisable to go for an 8GB RAM, because you don't want your laptop to start freezing up when you're working on it. As for the storage, I would advise you go for a storage space of at least 512 gigabytes so that you have enough space to store whatever you want to store on your laptop. Alright guys, so those are the basic components of a laptop that you need to have some knowledge about before you go buy a laptop. Now there are other things like the screen size, so you can do your background check on that. But these are the most important components that you need to know. Alright guys, so if this video was helpful, please do not forget to hit the subscribe button, also leave a thumbs up and share the video to those who might find it useful. Now, if you're in Cameroon and you are thinking of buying a laptop, a good laptop, then visit me at the Net Global Consultancy located in Limbe. I'm going to be leaving the contact information in the description box of this video. So they're giving up to 15% discount. All you need to do is to just tell them you are from the research campus and you're going to get the discount. Alright, so that is all for me today. Keep learning, keep growing, and see you in the next video.